This is the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video for 7 years running. It's Weather for Weather Geeks, the Wednesday evening edition. What a beautiful day we had today. The air felt a lot better than the last couple of days with lower humidity. Those dehumidifiers were not running like crazy in quite as many basements this afternoon. I want to start out this evening's video, as we oftentimes do, with a time-lapse video showing the deep blue skies we had in Columbiana this morning. This was followed by kind of a mixed bag of clouds and sun for the afternoon. We did have a little weather disturbance that pushed through today that led to a field of cumulus clouds and even a stray sprinkle in a few spots. This is Lake Erie in northeast Ohio, northwest PA, showing the cumulus clouds over land, while over the relatively stable air over Lake Erie, things are pretty quiet. That was the scene earlier on today from the low-orbiting high-res satellite. All right, the radar is quiet this evening across our area. Again, a couple of sprinkles tried to form earlier on today with that disturbance, but most of the legit showers were off to our south. If you look real carefully, you can kind of see that upper-level disturbance on the water vapor imagery moving through the northern tier of Ohio this afternoon. So maybe a little bit hard to see, but there it is right there. And if you watch this animation as it rolls forward, you'll see that little disturbance. There's actually another one of these off to the north and west right now, and this is what's going to lead to that chance for a shower or a thunderstorm tomorrow. It's this little thing kind of pinwheeling through parts of the upper Midwest this evening. Sometimes you hear us refer to this as a vorticity maximum, in other words, an area of spin in the mid-levels of the atmosphere that can cause rising air and occasionally some precipitation. Wow. Again, it feels really nice outside. Dew points, instead of the mid and upper 60s, have backed off into the upper 40s and lower 50s across the region. This will allow things to cool off very nicely this evening. All right, this next disturbance, I've drawn it on the weather map as a trough of low pressure. It's basically not quite a cold front, but enough to make an unstable atmosphere at times tomorrow afternoon. So we've got that chance of a shower or even a thunderstorm for Thursday afternoon. But then a slice of nice for Friday. This is going to be a beautiful day with a good deal of sunshine. Humidity remains low. Temperature's a little bit warmer. We'll sneak into the lower 80s, which, after all, is where we should be towards the end of June. All right, let's talk about the start of the weekend. We have a much more humid air mass pushing in for Saturday. I don't think Saturday is a total rain out. It's not just going to rain from start to finish, but there can be showers at just about any point. And the highest risk of a heavy thunderstorm or two is probably in the afternoon. Not going to be surprised if we have a low-end severe weather risk with this front approaching on Saturday. But the good news is there's been some faster trends in the modeling with this weekend fronts, and now we think that that front is going to get out of here in time to make for a pretty nice day on Sunday. Those dew points spike into the upper 60s Saturday, but then lower on Sunday. In fact, they may drop into the mid-50s before Sunday afternoon is through, and that'll set the stage for a stretch of weather in which, once again, the humidity is not too much of a story during the first half of next week. All right, we talked about this last evening, some on social media, and talked about it a little bit this evening on 21 News. The Saharan dust story that has kind of penetrated the news cycle across our region. A couple of things to note here. It's nothing unusual to have dust clouds, sand coming off of the Sahara Desert, off of Africa, making its way all the way across the Atlantic and into the Caribbean. This stuff happens every few days, really. It's just a matter of magnitude. This is a big event with a thick layer of Saharan dust and sand, and you probably at this point have seen some videos from the Caribbean. Usually the pristine-looking skies in the Caribbean are very hazy right now, and even enough dust to cover some things on the ground. We're not going to see that around here. Maybe in parts of the southern U.S., this becomes a problem for maybe people with respiratory issues, and maybe there's a small accumulation of dust on some things, but that's, I think, in the southern U.S. This far north, I think there can be some haze in the sky, and we may especially notice this on Sunday because Saturday is going to be a pretty cloudy day, so I don't think we'll see a real vivid sunrise or sunset on Saturday, but on Sunday, because the sky will be clearer from clouds, this high-level dust may make for a vivid sunrise and sunset. Not real concerned here locally about any sort of health impacts. It'll be high-level stuff and relatively thin by the time it reaches us. Again, nothing terribly unusual, just this one's bigger, a little thicker than usual, so it's certainly gaining some steam in the press, and, because it's 2020 and everything just seems crazy and weird in 2020. It's just one of those things that you can put in the 2020 bucket, if you will. All right, next week looks pretty benign weather-wise. It's going to be consistently warm, though, in the 8 to 14-day outlook. So this covers middle of next week through the 4th of July. You know, what you see is what you get. Summertime, peak summertime stuff going on here with consistently warm weather. Sometimes it may get pretty hot, but at least at first, the first several days of next week won't be particularly hot. I think we're looking at lower and middle 80s. And probably not some 90-degree temperatures just yet. That may change, though, as we head a little bit deeper into July. I'll have more updates on the longer range, of course, on future editions of this video and on my social media outlets as well. Make sure, in addition to Facebook, you're following me on Twitter, EricWFMJ. Instagram, if you want. I'm EricWFMJ there as well. My Instagram feed's kind of a mix of what I'm doing on the weekends and weather stuff as well. So give me a follow on all the social media outlets and make sure you're subscribing to all these videos on my YouTube channel as well.